Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. We would love to hear from you. If you have a struggle, you have a question, you have something we can help you out with, give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. We're going to be in the office in the studio here for a couple of shows. Again, that's 1-800-229-3000. And the we I'm referring to, myself, Chris Williams, licensed marriage and family therapist. Also have licensed psychologist, Dr. Alice Benton. Hi, Alice.
Hey, Chris.
How you doing?
Good. Chuckling at how messy life is, but let's do more than chuckle. Let's grieve. Let's work on it. Let's get some help here.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And licensed marriage and family therapist, licensed psychologist, Dr. Jill Hubbard.
Hi, Chris.
I have a lot of expertise in the room today, and
yes.
Yeah. So let's dig in.
Listen and learn, Chris.
Yes.
Right?
Right. So, Jill, what's on your mind today?
Well, I have been thinking about some things as a mom who is preparing for Thanksgiving, as many moms are.
Yes.
Some dads, too. But I tend to host Thanksgiving for my family. And so that's kind of occupying every, space, my lists and all of that. So I want to pause and think about the idea of breaking bread together, right? This is the holiday that really doesn't have all of the other fluff with it. It's centered around food, but it's centered around family and a coming together and that idea of breaking bread. There's a verse that comes out of Acts 2:46. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. Now, this is not from Thanksgiving, because obviously Thanksgiving was way after this, and I'm probably taking this verse out of context. But at the same time, I liked what it said, the idea of breaking bread together. And I think about the Pilgrims and the Indians who came together on that first Thanksgiving. And I think of it as a time of setting aside our differences. Let's focus on our commonalities and not our differences. And that also, when I think about my home, and some people have really small gatherings, right? And some people have large gatherings. But I also want it to be a place of comfort. I know that there's a lot of people who have lost people over the last year. I know in my family, we have lost several people in my extended family. And over the last couple of years, it seems like every fall, we're losing more people, and some really tragically. And so to remember and be sensitive to those that are coming together, and there's a missing spot at the table, right? And to be able to offer comfort to each other. I also think of it as a time to be other-centered instead of self-centered.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
So with all the people coming together, it's like, okay, I want to learn something new about somebody, right? Who can I learn something new about? And to ask more questions of people. Especially, I feel a responsibility for those younger than myself, coming up in the generations, to show an interest in them. And that was modeled for me in my family, and I want to pass that on. So, and I also want to roll with things better instead of being stressed. Cooking makes me really stressed out. It's not my forte. So I just want to roll with it. It's okay.
I love it. I absolutely love it, because it reminds me of two things, and two things that hold hands, that go together really well, and that is gratitude, which is Thanksgiving.
Yes, which of course.
and generosity.
Yeah.
And it's not just generosity in our things, but it's generosity in our spirit, generosity in our love, generous in our acceptance of other people.
And when you're in that posture, other things melt away.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. That is great advice to enjoy and get the most out of Thanksgiving. We're going to take your calls, 1-800-229-3000. We'll be back right after this.
I had been in porn addiction. My past had not been found out at all. Yet I had hit a point in my life where it was time.
Men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Everyman's Battle Intensive can help.
I never divulged what I'd been doing.
Find help today at New Life's Everyman's Battle Intensive.
This is a place that changed my life in such a positive way for Christ, because I could be the Christian man that I'm called to be.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I cannot say enough what it does in the Christian community for not just men, for their children, for their wives.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. Again, we're going to be in studio here for a couple of programs today. We would love to hear from you. Give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. Also, something that is really exciting is that we just came out with a new episode on Life Recovery Today, and it's all about how to maintain and protect your sobriety and recovery during the holidays. So, this holiday season, it can be hard for people in recovery. And that topic is addressed on Life Recovery Today television show. If you missed it live on the NRB TV network this morning at 9:30 Eastern, no worries. You can watch it at liferecoverytoday.net. Our guest today shares tips on how to maintain your recovery during the trickiest time of year, which is the holidays. And I can tell you, it's, we can't go into holiday season blindly when we're in recovery. We have to come in with a plan. We have to come in with a strategy.
A lot of times you are with your recovery community.
Yes.
Perhaps, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how far along you are. And the holidays mean you're going to be back with family.
Yes.
And maybe back, with things that get triggered.
A lot of triggers because our defenses can be down, or our stress triggers can be up. And listen, there is no stress like relational stress and family stress. And then when alcohol is around, or if it's readily available, whatever, those are things that can all pull us back into an addiction, especially for recovering from substances or any other addiction for that matter. So liferecoverytoday.net, you can find our Life Recovery shows on there. It's also on the NRB network. And they are just amazing, amazing resources. And so I encourage you to check that out. Another amazing resource we have here is we know that a lot of people that listen to the show and want to be a part of it can't call in for whatever reason. So we have this feature where you can write in your question to us. And if that is you, you can go to newlife.com/radio, and there is a process in which they can lead you through it to submit a question. But I wanted to start today off with one of our write-in callers. And so, Alice, tell us about Shar.
Here we go. Shar wrote and said, "Why can't I give up marijuana and the other man after they ruined my marriage and devastated my kids? I'm a new listener. My mother gave me your radio information, and I was listening to one you recently did about addiction. I've been using marijuana daily for the last 5 years in order to get the edge off and help me feel happy again. I've been married for 12 years. We have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. My husband and I have not been sexual for many years, and I have always felt a need for more physical intimacy. I was a stay-at-home mom until a couple years ago when I started back to work. About 6 months ago, I met a man who is also married with 2 kids. He pursued me and made me feel like he was very into me. I had an affair. My husband found some suspicious items and confronted me, and I told him, yes, I was with someone else. He knew about the marijuana and was never okay with it. He feels I'm going down a self-destructive road and wants to take the kids away from me. I went to a counselor and plan to see him weekly to try and work through my issues. I've tried to break off the relationship with the other person for the last 4 to 5 days. He seems to refuse to want to let me go. He says he feels guilty and wants to help me through the divorce. I feel horrible for what I've done to my children. My husband told them over the weekend that we were divorcing because your mother is a cheater and on drugs. The kids were devastated. There's a side of me that still likes that the other man is there, even if it's not really real. But he calls and texts to check in. He feels like a drug, if I'm being completely honest. I need scripture. I feel weak. I feel lost. And I'm holding on to something that's a fantasy. Please help me.
Oh, wow. I mean, Shar just has so much going on. There is the marijuana use. There is the affair. Now all leading to the divorce. And so, Jill.
Well, and I'm wondering, okay, the marijuana use started, she said, because she was, stressed out? And anxious, and so what was going, and she was lacking physical intimacy, so a lack of connection, right? We then substitute other things into that void.
Yes.
And so often we need to look, because so many addictions go back to our issues with intimacy.
Yes.
We are all broken in those areas, some more than others, right? But when you are in connected, healthy relationships, that's fulfilling, and you have less of a need for the other, and you take your hurts and your struggles to a relationship, right?
Yes.
For comfort and soothing. But instead, what is a quicker fix, right, is people take it to pot, right?
Yes.
Marijuana or alcohol or people. And there's nothing more exciting than illicit pursuit, right?
Yeah.
And so now, wow, Shar has gotten herself in a place that's so difficult. One of the things that she said, he won't let me go. Okay, that's kind of that powerless, helpless position, because you know what? It's really not up to him to let her go.
That's exactly right.
It's up to her to say no and to exercise that muscle. And that's really hard when she's getting secondary gains from it. And she's used to having something that instantly makes her feel better.
Yes.
So part of this is in her therapy, having to tolerate the discomfort, having to try to sit with it a little longer, and delaying that feel good, right? The need to go there. She may need some help. I mean, with daily pot use times 5 years, I mean, she needs to get into a recovery group, community, and be able to become abstinent from that, right?
Because she has a lot of layers going on.
She
here,
does,
right? You nailed it. Like that intimacy gap. You know, God created us for relationship.
Yeah.
And you know, we can even see that in the greatest commandment. It's about being in relationship to ourselves, other people, God, and working on that and cultivating that over the course of our lifetime. And when that's not there, there are serious things, alarm bells that go on inside of us. And we can get all into the neurotransmissions, all that, but really it's a disruption inside of us and actual pain that needs medicated. And who knows what's in her own history, what possible traumas that Shar has been through. All of those, to your point, Jill, need to be addressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and they had kids fairly soon after they were married. They've been married 12 years. They have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. So kids right away on the scene. And we know when kids come onto the scene, moms and dads often feel some disconnect, unfortunately. You know, a happy time of coming together, mom's focused on the kids, and dad kind of gets pushed aside a bit.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of dads don't know what to do with that. So as that gap gets bigger and they don't address it, then you see what happens, right?
That combination of loneliness and at least perceived rejection because of a lack of physical intimacy can be so overwhelming. It's very understandable to turn to substances and to an affair to fill in with the loneliness. But the real answer, like you were saying, Jill, the long-term holy answer that is actually life-giving is to take the loneliness, the overwhelm, the rejection into relationship with safe peers. And it's through that confession process that we start to get true comfort. Marijuana is comforting, but only for a brief period of time, and then it is utterly destructive.
And it will turn on you.
It does.
Yeah.
You first get comfort from it, then it creates the anxiety you're trying to avoid.
That's exactly right.
Similarly, an affair. It's very comforting at first, but then it also turns insidious, toxic, and we know that the children are suffering while you, Shar, are being comforted by the affair. And I'm going to challenge you, in the context of a loving relationship, probably with a therapist, maybe with a group of women, of peers, it will be important for you to sit with your children's devastation. And that's so hard to do because of shame, embarrassment. It's hard to tolerate looking at how some of your choices have affected your children. And I'm going strong on this because in order to get that heart change where you become willing to let go of the affair, you probably need to feel more, access more godly sorrow. Because the godly sorrow of this is what my choice is doing to my children is what can help motivate us to surrender the affair. I understand that you don't want to. It may be the only thing that feels like it's filling you up right now, but it is short term, it's temporary, and you need the right long-term solution, which is relationship with other women.
Yeah. And early sobriety is really, really difficult because one of the things that happens with an addiction to a substance like marijuana or an affair, because she described it really well. It has a drug-like effect.
It totally does.
And that intoxication is real. But what goes along with that is obsession. And obsession you don't feel like you're even in control of. And so that early period requires, to your point, Jill, and to yours, Alice, really strong boundaries and really strong support. That's why a good, strong recovery program is really necessary here.
Yeah, she has to be involved in something daily.
Yes.
So either getting into a structured program or being at meetings daily.
Yes.
And I think when you're still in your addiction, we have to move into the confession and the prayer. I don't want to let this go, whether that's my marijuana or that's my affair partner. I don't want to. I'm not ready yet. But when we can be that brutally honest with other people and with God and give him permission, you got to change my heart, God, because I can't let this go, but I want to. God will move in with the voices of other trustworthy people to help you surrender that.
And that's where a good recovery group experience starts, because it starts with step one, and that's what I love about our life recovery resources here, is because it helps us show that, recovery has this biblical base to it. And we are powerless, and we're powerless against our own sin. We're powerless against other people's sin. And our lives are unmanageable. And as we come to that realization, we start to realize our need for God, a power greater than ourselves to restore us to sanity, step 2, to turn our lives and our will over to the care of God, step 3. So it goes on this progression, but it starts with the reality of our need.
Right. And there are groups specifically for affairs like this. Love Addicts Anonymous is a really supportive group because that withdrawal from a illicit relationship or an unhealthy relationship is so strong. Again, she's so right. It is a drug. And so to have other people that you can call instead when you're struggling is really important.
Yeah, I think that's really good. To kind of triage this on what are some of the steps, and I would say the first step is to get into recovery and start setting as many boundaries around marijuana and this affair partner, which includes blocking numbers, which includes
she may need to change her job.
Yeah,
if he's
absolutely.
at her job, then it's that important for her children.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing. Right now, she doesn't want to. As soon as the divorce happens and she's lost everything, all the smoke and mirrors will be gone.
Yes.
And then she will be devastated.
Yes. That's what we call that moment of clarity.
Yes.
The moment of clarity when all of the denial and the drug effects and all of the good things fade away.
You see them for what they really are then.
And then it's like, oh no, we're in trouble here.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we want to raise the bottom for ourselves right now and see it for what it is. And I would even make this suggestion that you go to your husband and ask for a legal separation for 6 months to allow you 6 months to get into recovery and put a pause on the divorce process.
Well, and even explain to him this, this is like an addiction, this
Yes.
affair, right? That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And and if this is true, right, it doesn't hold weight to her family, really, in the long run.
No, because, and this is what's important when you're in relationship with a person struggling with addiction. Everyone's going to chase the drug or chase the porn or chase the affair. I'm like, no, the behavior reveals itself. The behavior is dangerous. The behavior is unhealthy. That's all, when you address the behavior, that's what exposes it, and it gets out of the realm of denial and into reality.
And Char, we want to acknowledge that we know you're trying to get out of this addictive behavior. You're seeking help. You're already seeing a counselor, so that's the right track. Add a group to it, and we want to send you a resource as well.
Well, we're going to try to track down Char and send her a Life Recovery Bible.
Yes.
I would also say, Char, give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we can connect you with great resources to help you in your journey. If you would like to talk to us today, give us a call, 1-800-229-3000, whatever you're struggling with. If you're could be a relationship, mental health issue, whatever it is, we'd love to talk to you. We're going to be back right after this.
Hello, everybody. This is Becky Brown. And as we end 2024, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's given to New Life. Your generosity makes it possible for hurting people to connect with the help that they need, help that can change everything for them and that will continue to have a ripple effect on their families, their communities, and even the world. Right now, you can double the impact of your giving through a $385,000 matching gift opportunity. Every dollar gets doubled. To make a tax-deductible gift and be part of life change, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com or text the word MATCH to 28950. That's 28950. I know that you want to make a difference in someone's life, and you will as you give to the match. Thank you in advance.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family, or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step towards genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad you're with us today. And if you would love to talk to us today, we'd love to talk to you. Give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. And in the midst of our broken and hurting world, New Life is here. And we have workshops and lots of resources. And part of the resources, whether it be a nationwide network of counselors, whether it be library of books, connections to treatment centers, and of course the radio show and our podcasts and the workshops, it's really at the heart of it helping to connect people with hope and experiences of transformation in their lives. Our impact is because of the faithful partnerships of support from people like you in this ministry. And really exciting about that, we have this $385,000 matching gift right now. So you want to take this opportunity to double the impact. Anything you give right now is doubled. It's as easy as texting the word match to 28950. Again, MATCH to 28950, or you can give online at newlife.com or give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. There are some really, really exciting things that we're working on to really provide more access. Hearing from a person yesterday that, they didn't have the financial resources to go into individual therapy, and their insurance didn't cover it, all of that sort of thing. But by accessing our resources, whether it be the videos online, they were talking about the radio show, that they were able to get a lot of the help that they needed to continue their healing and health and growth journey. So that's all possible because you support us. Again, we love this option that we just talked about, and that is the write-ins. And, I want to get to these write-ins.
Well, because we don't always get to them.
Yes.
So we want to encourage people to write in.
Absolutely. So again, you can go to newlife.com/radio to write in a question, and we're going to go to another one, and this one is from Donna. So Jill, can you tell us about Donna?
Okay. Donna says, what is the best way forward for my daughter and son-in-law? Do they need individual or couples counseling? The background. Our daughter shared that her husband has been lying to her about debt and college classes. After they were married and had children, she found a letter from the college saying that he owes several $1,000s for a school loan that she knew nothing about, and he lied about how many classes he still is needing before graduating. We suggested they attend Christian counseling together, but our daughter is opposed to that because she thinks they will tell her to just be patient and let him work through his issues. She thinks this is his problem and that she and their children should be the incentive he needs to get this problem fixed. Supposedly, he has gone to a counselor a couple of times, but there hasn't been much change. He has ADHD and is on prescription medication. They are a loving Christian family with preteen kids, but he has broken the trust that she had in him. What is the best way forward for them?
Yeah, that's another significant issue. Yeah, Alice, what do you think?
Well, as a liar in recovery myself, I know that we often will lie to cover our mistakes because we're so afraid of facing them. It comes out of fear and shame and embarrassment. And so unmerited grace and favor and safety can sometimes help us liars come out of the lying. So this is undeserved, but what helps us is if we're approached gently with an invitation to talk about something that's been weighing down on our hearts. So Donna, I would suggest that your daughter go to her husband to say, hey, can we have a check-in? And when he's ready to, let him know. I imagine you might be feeling kind of scared and maybe overwhelmed about school and about finances. This letter came to my attention, and I wonder if we can talk it through together. If we are approached in a non-attacking, accusatory way, it helps any of us to lower down those defensive walls that we have and get honest. Now, there's no guarantee because we liars, when we've got that habit so ingrained, it's really hard for us to break out of it. But a gentle invitation can sometimes help us to make an admission. Other times we need a stronger approach of, I found this letter and I'm afraid you've been hiding some of these things from me, and we really need to face this head on together. I love you. No matter what, we can do this, we can handle it, but I need us to get open and honest about where the finances stand and where the classes are. So I'd have you first try the gentle approach, and if you don't get any traction, you may have to go with the firmer, kind of confrontational approach.
Well, and I think it also goes back to why he feels the need to lie, right? It's less about what he's lying about and more about why he feels, and you mentioned shame, right, and embarrassment, and she's saying he's ADHD. Well, it's really common. People with ADHD always feel behind, like they're always playing catch up. And things that are simple should be simple for most people. I mean, even in their own minds, they think, well, I can do this.
Yeah.
They can't. And so it's very confusing for them. And so then they cover their tracks because of the shame. And so I think her daughter may be personalizing this a bit when really it's probably not personal.
Yeah.
It has to do with his ability to function and his feelings about that.
Well, and I get the impression there's what's called the contagion of shame. Is he's hiding in shame. Her deceit And broken trust comes with shame, like there was something she did, and that's what shame sometimes keeps us blocked from getting the recovery and the help that we need. So, Mommy, my short answer is, of course, get into couples counseling.
Oh, right. Yes, because that is the question, right?
Because it is a couples issue.
Yes.
You know, and again, just to remind people that, you know, we have a nationwide network of therapists and couples counselors. And so get into it and address what's going on underneath the surface, because that could be the safest place to have the toughest conversations. We'll be back right after this.
5 years ago, I had been in porn addiction, and I'd had a sexual relationship out of marriage.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography. Find help today at New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive.
It was the first time I'd ever divulged the sin that I had.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
I found a confidential comfort that was able to put a flame to a start of a healing process.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
Thank you, New Life. They're the redeemed, man. Thank you.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because, you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We were just talking about a write-in caller that Donna with her daughter and son-in-law hiding money. They were hiding debt, I should say. And
not telling the whole truth.
Not telling the whole truth.
Admitting things.
Obviously, you know, daughter-in-law feels betrayed, but she's curiously resisting couples counseling.
Right, and thinking that, well, we should just be enough of an incentive.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, if he were disabled and couldn't walk, would they be enough of an incentive to walk?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, he has ADHD, and there's a whole history there. So there's more to it, I think.
Yeah, and I think that understanding what's going on underneath the surface and getting in a safe place to do that is great. But one of the things I was going to mention about marriage, and one of the things that my wife and I didn't realize when we got married a few years ago, a couple decades ago,
yes,
is that we would be entering into a lifelong business partnership.
Yeah.
And that's serious, and it matters. And so finances is a great source of conflict, but honestly, it's also a great source of connection and intimacy. And I just want to encourage people out there. It's like, hey, these really big issues that carry a lot of weight or pressure to them we like to avoid, but actually working through them can strengthen your marriage.
Well, that's another thing to think of, Chris, when you're thinking about getting married.
Yes.
Would you trust this person in business?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you do business with this person,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Not just, oh, I have good feelings with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're driving a really expensive car and are tens
they're
of thousands
leveraged to
of
the
dollars
hilt.
in debt and can't cover their monthly, guess what you're going to marry? You're going to marry that.
So then when that spouse with the more obvious shortcomings is starting to do work like this man is, he entered into individual counseling. Make sure to praise those efforts. He's taking medication for ADHD. Praise it and point it out. And I'd also have you ask, is there anything about me that makes it difficult for you to open up?
Yes.
His lying is on him.
Yes.
But we liars are usually afraid of angering the person we're in a relationship
Or
with.
disappointing.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
What man wants to disappoint their wife?
Well, and Alice, you reminded me of something, and that is in couples, we have these couples issues. And usually people find a partner of same emotional, relational health and maturity. When one of them starts to get better, we call it the identified patient, you know? When the unhealthy one gets better, guess what it does to the other one? It exposes their unhealth.
Yep.
Right? So I could say that my wife went first.
The floodlights turned on you.
Yes, and she got really healthy.
And then you're a deer in headlights, right?
And the gig was up for me. It forced me into my own work.
It's true.
So I just encourage couples. And again, we have the Intimacy in Marriage Intensive coming up in October. And that is October 14th here in Orange County. If you need help in your marriage or you just want to tune up and you want to keep improving it, please attend. Come to Orange County in February.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I heard something else.
Oh, no problem. Yeah.
I heard October, and I'm like, wait, it's February.
I may
Then
have
I
said
realized.
October. Yes, it's coming up in February. So that's, you go to newlife.com and find our intensives and workshops there and sign up for that today. We're actually going to go now to the phones. We're going to go to Annie in Las Vegas, Nevada, who connects with us through YouTube. Annie, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. Glad you called in. What's going on?
Yeah, so the holidays are coming up, right? And I host the holiday dinner at my house all the time. And I'm just trying to figure out how to keep the peace during the holidays, because there's always some personality conflicts and just arguments every now and then about something. And I'm really anxious about that, and just wanted to get some pointers on how to work that out in case that happens, which it's always happened.
Yes.
So, just in case that happens, what pointers you might give me?
Well, I'll start here, and that is, Annie, guess what the advantage of being the host is?
What's that?
You get to be the rule maker.
That's true.
You're going to set the rules. So, Jill, you started the show off talking about this. What do you think?
I did. So, Annie, if you have specific family members who tend to be the disruptors every year, I'm wondering if you could go to them and let them know that as host, you're trying to kind of create an atmosphere that's a little different than past holidays, and that you're really hoping that everybody will, as I mentioned, focus on commonalities and not differences, and that this isn't a time when we all are in a large group setting. It's not a time to air our resentments,
air our grievances, like that Seinfeld show, right?
Exactly. And that would they be willing, if they need to air some resentments, could we plan another time for that? Could we plan a family meeting? But to not have it happen on the holiday. And would they be willing? Sometimes when you go to someone one-on-one and you ask for a commitment, they're more apt to agree. There's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Especially if alcohol gets involved or things like that. But they're more apt to agree because you've kind of put them on notice. And you come at it in a very loving way. I understand you have a lot of hurts, and you have a right to have your resentments. I'm asking you, though, to set them aside for the holiday.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. That's good. And sometimes the younger people come over, like my kids or some of my nieces and nephews that are in college, and an adult always has something to say, like, oh, you've been off to college, you've gained some weight, just comments that are not helpful.
So insensitive.
I'm laughing because, really?
Okay. Well, the young adults in my family, Annie, we make jokes about the people who do things like that, right?
Yeah.
Like Grandpa, he's going to say something, right?
Yeah.
And he's trying so hard to connect, and sometimes he doesn't get it. So sometimes you have to give people a little instruction. You know, young people are really sensitive about their weight. Let's not mention that this year, right?
Yeah.
Let's keep it uplifting and edifying.
Annie,
Okay,
I hope you also identify a couple of allies. People who are good at protecting the harmony and changing the topic of conversation if need be. Have an ally meeting before the event so that you can get their support and know that they'll be in the room helping you with this. You might even say to folks beforehand, let's not talk politics this year. Name some of the hot button topics that could get the family into trouble. And then when they probably still inevitably come up, you can just smoothly say, well, we'll save that topic for another time. And I want you to have prepared a family member's accomplishment or success so that you have a topic you can steer it towards. You know what? I want to bring up that so-and-so just did well in a class recently. I want to hear about that. Would you tell us about it? So have a couple handy topics to move to.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like
I
that
like
a lot.
that strategy. I was at a Thanksgiving event, and the host got everyone together and said, "Is there anyone here interested in changing their political views today? Raise your hand."
Oh, that's so funny.
And then he said, "Is there anyone in here that wants to change their religious views today? Raise your hand." He says, if you want to have those conversations and you want to change your views, the study is over there. You can go in there and close the door. Other than that, we're not talking politics and we're not talking religion at this event, you know. So that was really good. And I like what you said about having topics, Alice, in your back pocket to go with. The only other strategy I would mention is like have activities.
Right.
Have games, you know, something
do
to
a group game.
You know.
Right, or put everybody on the spot and what are you thankful for?
Yeah,
right.
And, you know, and then,
name 3 things.
And in the Super Bowl, if you're like a football family, like during the Super Bowl, we have like these prop bets that are just really fun and friendly and not, you know, really no stakes involved. But like, how long is the national anthem? What's the first commercial?
Oh,
different things
trivia
like that.
stuff.
Yeah, trivia stuff, and you know, there's football going on that day. And so it could be even around Thanksgiving parade, whatever it is. But there's a ton of different activities that you guys can do to occupy that space.
Right. And I also like, Alice, what you were saying about allies. And even with your football analogy, maybe like kind of do one-to-one defense where you assign somebody, you know,
that's good. Yes.
You know, you're going to be watching
Grandpa.
Uncle Fester or whatever, right? And you're going to block anything he lobs out.
It's like having a sober buddy.
But they don't really know it, but you're just kind of shadowing them and you kind of just, you know.
You're the social grace buddy.
Yes, exactly.
Right? I love that. Annie, what do you think of those?
Those are great ideas. Thank you guys so much. It's pretty helpful.
Good. Well, we're wishing you a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday season. We're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back, just as a token of appreciation for calling in today. And friends, we need more Annies in the world to host and to strategize and to create space for people
it
to
does take
have,
being a little intentional about
to
it.
have genuine connection. If you would like to give us a call today, again, we're going to be in studio for the remainder of this show and another one coming up. So give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. Again, that's 1-800-229-3000. Holidays are coming up, people. Let's talk about it. Let's get real. Let's get honest. Let's get into solution to create the best holiday season that we can. We're going to be back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. you never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and I have great friends, great experts with me today.
And we're having fun.
Yes, Jill, Alice, and myself. And here's an interesting thing that happens this time of year. This is weird. I've had my group practice for, a dozen years. Mm-hmm. And I'm always expecting it to slow down near the holidays. And you would think 12 years of muscle memory would show me differently because every single year we have the opposite happen, and that is an increase. And the truth of the matter is that holidays whatever is there, whether it be good or whether it be hard or difficult, they just tend to highlight everything, including the losses that we experience, the struggles, whatever it may be. And because the holidays come with so much expectation and anticipation, and honestly, so much disappointment and struggle at the same time.
Yeah, so it reveals and magnifies when things have already been stirring inside of people.
Yes. We have so many resources here at New Life. If you're struggling this holiday season, we got books, we got counselors, coaches, we have intensives coming up. We have Every Man's Battle, December 6th, coming right up. If that is your struggle, get into it. And we have this radio show. And so don't struggle alone. You can give us a call. You can go online. You can give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to get connected to a counselor. You can call us right now on the show, 1-800-229-3000. But don't go into the holiday season without the resources you need. Contact us any way you can, and we can help you get connected. We're going to go back to the phones. We're going to go to Cherie in Baltimore, Maryland, listening on WAVA. Cherie, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Well, I'm so glad you're there, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. Tell us what's going on.
Well, it's me and my relationship with my dad. Let me see if I can make it really brief and short. The last thing I said to him was, I feel really bad when I can't make it when him and his wife ask me to go places. And I said to him, but on the other hand, I feel like I'm an option, just an option. I'm in 12-step program. I've done a lot of work and everything around my dad, the daddy issues. And I think I even had one of your books about the dad piece that I have. So I've done a lot of work around that. He's 95 years old.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
He said he understood, but it's just then, and it still hurts. It still hurts. It's so many years, even though I've done all this work on myself. And then he married into a family, so I have stepsisters, and they're all older than I am and everything, but nobody has ever reached out to me during the year or whatever like that. And I've always tried to fit in, if you will. And so, but I recently stopped buying Christmas gifts for the last 2 or 3 years because we don't talk during the year or anything like that. And then the holiday come, and then I'm out buying, gifts and everything like that. So I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. So
I don't know really what my question is. It's like, how do I let myself off the hook?
Well, and I'm trying to understand. So the situation is you feel bad when they invite you because you don't want to. You can't go because why?
I already have other plans. I plan things out.
Okay.
I'm not sitting around
So
just waiting.
they invite you at the last minute, or
yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I feel like an option. So
an
you know,
option.
and not a
You don't
priority.
right. You don't feel like a priority because it's only at the holidays. It's only at the quote typical family times that they connect with you.
Yeah, and then even if there are other times that they ask, that's my dad and his wife, and even if they ask other times, I'm not available because I've already planned stuff. But they'll wait to the last minute to ask me.
Okay, so you're you're a plan ahead person.
Yes.
Okay. And I mean, I'm wondering how you would feel if they didn't ask at all versus them asking last minute. So I don't
know.
On the right.
Well,
on the one hand,
it probably wouldn't matter. I don't know because I've already planned my stuff out. You know, I've never been able to rely on him for things like that. You know, he was the absent dad. He wasn't the dad.
Mm-hmm. So his efforts
another part of me feels like it's karma because he always had me waiting, the little girl looking out the window.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he never showed up.
Kind of
You
the
get
cat's
it?
in
So
the
this
cradle.
is a history kind of thing, yeah.
Mhm.
So since then, you know, he's saved, he got saved and everything, and then I got saved and got clean and, you know, 12-step.
And
I'm a 12-stepper.
And you've done so much work on this relationship. I think it surprises you and maybe disappoints or frustrates you that you still feel a hurt and a need. There's still a vacancy here where your dad should be active in your life in a better, healthier way. So I have a couple suggestions for you, a deeper level and a surface level. On the deeper level, we have to keep grieving when it becomes apparent to us that the good work I've already done, for some reason, God is inviting me into a deeper level of acknowledging I'm angry, I'm so sad, I'm frustrated that my dad still doesn't show up in a good way. So keep telling those stories. Even though you've done that work, your heart is asking you to do more, to revisit it. And then the surface level might be, Dad, I would really like to get together with you. If you can plan in advance, give me a couple days heads up. I would be more likely to be able to say yes to that. That seems simplistic, but he might need that nudge from you. And you might need to be the one to invite your dad when you're available. I'm sure you've done it already, but because your heart is crying out, I want you to make these 3 attempts, even if they're repeat attempts.
I think it's really good. Yeah. Because, just to reiterate that, because Alice, you said something that's really important. And, you know, there was this old Leonard Cohen song that said, "Dance me to the end of love." And there's a principle here that I'm going to borrow from that, but I'm going to change the words. Grieve me to acceptance. Grieve me to the end of acceptance, right? Acceptance is that final stage of grief. And again, when we talk about the stages of grief, I like to call them the big hairy ball of grief because they all kind of mix together and come in and out in different times. But it gives us this thing that if we can grieve to acceptance, because what's happening inside of you, Cherie, is you still have expectations of your dad he will never meet.
Yeah.
You still have hurts of your dad that will never be healed.
And you probably
reconciled, I should say, yeah.
You probably see him engage with your stepsisters in a way he doesn't engage with you, and that reopens the hurt at a different angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if your dad has made some changes, he may not have made all of the changes that you need or completely see you. And I wonder if some of your resentment about his last-minute planning is also the protest of that little girl that says, you weren't there for me, so I'm not going to give an inch here.
And that speaks to the what I believe is the real grief. Cherie, you need to grieve the dad that you deserved but never got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? You needed that dad all along, and the person that showed up as dad is not him.
Yeah.
And so in the end of that, you get to relate to your biological father as another man, not callously. In fact, you get to love him as a broken human being, trying to figure it out. But you get to be released from all of the painful hooks of what
Right.
he was unable to be in your life.
And then as you see him just as who he is today, it's like, Dad, I can't make it on that date, that holiday, but can we plan
Yeah.
to do an alternative?
So, Cherie, we're going to send you a copy of Jill's book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. I think that is going to be really helpful for you. And thank you so much for calling in today. And thank you all for being part of our program. And until next time, be well.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.